Hello, Nigeria. Welcome to Newsline. I am Becky Madujamu. Thank you for joining us this beautiful Sunday. We're still in the mood of the elections, and our program aligns with the period. Developments in different parts of the country that you did not see elsewhere will be highlighted. There are other reports that project the essence of the true Nigerian spirit. There are also impressive features revealing our greatness in diversity. But the news comes before all of that. Over to Claire Adilabu Abdurazak in Abuja.
Thank you, Becky. Unlike you, we've got some very serious stories tonight from Abuja, and we are beginning from the ICC Center, where a collation of presidential results from states has commenced at the conference center, Abuja. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu opened the center after earlier updating Nigerians on some events of the elections. Here is Mayor Ugidi with the rest of the story.
The Presidential and National Assembly elections that started on the 23rd of February 2019 spilled over to Sunday, 24th of February 2019. This, according to the INEC chairman, was as a result of some failed smart card readers. So, new ones were deployed to those centers and the elections continued. He, however, expressed anger in some incidents where corps members were kidnapped, and in the worst scenario, one was even killed in Degema, River State. It was indeed a emotion-laden voice in which this chairman spoke, and he warned that perpetrators of such act will be brought to book as interactions with the Nigerian police is ongoing to unravel the perpetrators.
While in all these attacks, election staff sustained injuries, we have unfortunately recorded the first fatality in River State.
From there, we moved to the main hall of the National Coalition Center within the ICC, where the chairman, at exactly 6:30 p.m., declared the venue open, after reading about 13 grand procedures that will govern the hall while it lasts.
Arrival, the scopes will be received in the open, and people will know who has arrived, and the responsibility of the Secretariat is just to organize the sequence of presentation by the scope. At the moment, no scope is around. Some of them are expected tonight.
So for now, proceedings at the Coalition Center have been adjourned till 11 a.m. on Monday, 25th of February 2019. Mayor Ogidi, NTA News.
Thank you, Mayor, and well done for a good report. Now, a report emanating from the vote tabulation situation room of one of the election monitor groups, Youth Initiative for Advocacy, Growth and Advancement, YAGA, says the few hitches experienced during the conduct of the February presidential polls do not necessarily undermine the overall credibility of the process. Timothy Yusuf was at the group's preliminary media briefing here in Abuja.
YAGA's Watching the Vote Situation Room deployed 3,906 observers throughout the country to every state and all 774 local government areas. These include 3,030 parallel vote tabulation observers who deployed in pairs to a random and representative statistical sample of 1,515 polling units during the conduct of the election. This deployment enabled YAGA Africa to independently verify the accuracy of the official presidential election results when they are announced by the Independent National Electoral Commission.
There's a lot of data that's still coming in because this is preliminary, things could change.
Similarly, the Center for Transparency Advocacy at its own situation room commended the Nigerian people for their resilience and commitment to vote in the February 23rd election.
We salute every Nigerian for braving the odds in spite of the difficulties. Recognizing the challenges which culminated in the suspension of the elections of the 16th February, we commend the leadership of INEC for the frameworks and mechanisms it put in place within a very short time in ensuring that elections held yesterday.
Both situation rooms are to issue their final statement after the announcement of the presidential election result in comparison with their observations. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
And from Yola comes a report that the people of Adamawa State take the credit for turning out in their numbers to cast their ballots during the presidential and National Assembly elections, and peacefully too. Now, the recognition was made by the Secretary to the Federation, Boss Mustafa. Abubakar Haman has the details.
The SGF expressed satisfaction with the turnout of electorate in his ward Gwadabawa in Yola North local government, who conducted themselves peacefully during the election. Boss Gida Mustafa urged them to sustain the tempo and remain steadfast as they await the official announcement of the results.
And I believe that the response I see here, the excitement, is beyond any quantifiable measure. So I'm quite impressed with the turnout at my polling station.
In the same vein, the chairman, Central Working Committee, Women and Youth APC Presidential Council, Muhammadu Buba Marwa, appreciated the turnout of people to exercise their franchise, signifying the consolidation of democracy in Nigeria.
We thank millions of APC members and supporters who trooped out to vote en masse yesterday, despite the initial postponement. We thank our agents who stood their grounds to ensure our results were not tampered with, and our mandate protectors who kept eagle eyes on the process.
In Yola, Rayanu Bala, NTA News.
Well, that report was actually from Rayano Bala, as you heard, and not from Abubakar Haman. And back here in the city center, Abuja, businesses and vehicle activities were at the lowest ebb this Sunday, not just a day after the presidential and National Assembly elections. And as expected, correspondent Sawa Khalil Ibrahim, who monitored the situation, quotes some residents as attributing it to what he called electioneering fatigue. Let's now join Sawa Khalil Ibrahim for the rest of the story.
A typical Sunday in the nation's capital, Abuja, usually record low vehicular and business activities. But this Sunday is exceptional, as the town is almost like a ghost town, with little or no activities in almost all places, as many have remained indoors, still basking in the euphoria of the elections while awaiting announcement of results. As you can see here, I'm in the central area. From the popular UTC shopping center in Area 10 to Wuse Market, only few shops were opened for business. Nevertheless, what's in the lips of many residents and business owners is the just concluded elections.
People are beginning to turn up, coming to markets now.
I'm just going around. I'm just from the Central Mosque, and I'm here now. Everything is okay so far.
No any business at all. You can see everywhere is dry. There's no any shop owner they did not open today at all. So even we didn't even see any customer around.
I want to see a peaceful Nigeria. I want to see a progressive Nigeria. I want to see a united Nigeria.
Generally, the mood of the city is that of calm and serenity despite the hot weather condition, with the presence of security personnel at some strategic locations. Meanwhile, attention of residents has been shifted to the various collation centers across the city. Salwa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
And the people of Akure in Ando State are urging Nigerians in other parts of the country to remain patriotic and law-abiding, especially during post-election period, in the best interests of the country. Olubumi Oke tells us more.
It is the day after the presidential and National Assembly elections, and people of Akure are back to their daily routine. It is, however, evident that the results of the current election are being eagerly awaited by all as they discuss the polls. But for this group of people, the atmosphere in town was conducive enough to arrange a wedding which had once been postponed. Residents who spoke to us expressed willingness to support those who would emerge as winners in the elections.
In every election, there must be a winner and a loser. And democracy is all about the supremacy of the freedom of choice. So whoever loses or whoever wins, the interest, the growth and development of Nigeria is what matters most, above the interest of any other person.
I know many people will be anxious about the outcome of the results of the election. But what I will be telling everybody now is that they should have more patience. Let God choose for us. Whosoever emerges as our new president, we should cooperate together and be thanking God.
There would be other elections on Saturday, March 9th in Akure. Olubumi, okay, NTA News.
Now, our next report resonates a case of different stroke for different folks. Now, while many Nigerians had no difficulty exercising their civic responsibility by casting the ballots during the presidential and National Assembly elections, others who wished to do so could not, and not for any other reason than that they were on essential duty. John Yaku turned his camera lens on them.
Mr. Francis Form is a reporter with the Nigerian Television Authority. Francis, his cameraman and driver are heading out to various polling units to cover the presidential and National Assembly elections. Therefore, they will not be able to cast their ballots.
Honestly, I was unable. In fact, I tried to see how I will move down to, or I can move down to my area to go and exercise my civic responsibility, but unfortunately, I couldn't do that.
For the period of these 10 years, I've never been casting my vote because of any election time they put us on duty.
Well, it's a normal thing, which we can't blame anybody about it.
Francis Form and his likes are not alone, as many other essential service workers have for years been denied the right to elect leaders of their choice because of the nature of their duties. This development, many believe, is not healthy for some category of citizens to be disenfranchised from having a say in who governs them.
I think that the challenge for Nigeria and the Electoral Commission, INEC, is to begin to think of ways and the means of, one, amending the legal framework, and then secondly, creating the mechanisms and the opportunities through which we can have early voting, in which security officials, election officials, and other designated persons would be able to exercise their vote.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says this is possible in subsequent elections in Nigeria if the laws governing elections are amended to accommodate such.
The best time to pursue this type of thing is immediately after an general election. If a committee can work immediately after a general election, targeting the next general election. Once it is a year into the election, you find out that there's not enough time.
Smaller countries than Nigeria are able to organize it while we can't, and we should not continue to disenfranchise millions of Nigerians. It's an issue of fundamental human rights to vote.
The fact that diaspora and early voting for these essential election duties have become a global practice in democracies, many feel Nigeria should not be left behind. In Abuja, John Yaku, NTA News.
What can we say? All in the service of the nation. Now let's turn our attention to Jigawa State now, where resident electoral commissioner Mahmoud Isa has denied cancellation of any result as been peddled on the social media. Ibrahim Sani has an update from Dutse.
Although the collation of the election results for the Saturday's presidential election is yet to commence, however, everything has been put in place to ensure smooth conduct of the exercise. With us is the resident electoral commissioner Jigawa State, who will tell us more on when we are expecting the result to start coming to the collation center here in Lucy.
Actually, at this point I'm talking to you, we have local government that have already completed the collation of the results, namely Malamadori, Yankwashi, Kafin Hausa, Taura, and Gagarawa. They are already driving on their way to Duse, the capital of Jigawa State. Moreover, other 14 local government, they are already in the process of collation, and they will finish in the next 1 or 2 hours, and they will start coming. And remaining, they are in the process of the collation. No, that's not like cancellation. What happened, there was a little bit of deferral of time. In the process of election, we have technical failure of smart card reader. So it's a matter of failure of technology in the process of election. So under the as at that time, people were already in the queue, they are anxious to vote. So in order to save time, because people are tired and they seem to avoid problem. So what we decided to do is say we told them, okay, we can defer it to 8 o'clock in the morning so that people can go back home and come back afresh. And we continue this morning. The election is ongoing and we hope to finish in the next 1 hour or so.
Meanwhile, a report from Lafayette says alleged ballot box snatching making the rounds in the conduct of election has not been confirmed by the Security or Independent National Electoral Commission. Abubakar Usman Akwanga reports that a misunderstanding occurred in Gayam Ward in the metropolis, resulting from slight delay in the arrival of election materials and commencement of balloting. Officials say there was no attempt to snatch ballot boxes, as reported in some media platforms. They commend security personnel for bringing the situation under control. Now, what a man can do, a woman can do even better. That's an age-long adage which depicts the strength and capacity of the female gender. Correspondent Bilikisu Abubakar reports that played out during the presidential and National Assembly elections when women from Adamawa State turned out in their numbers to cast their ballot.
As early as 8 o'clock in the morning, women in Adamawa State have been on the forefront at various polling units to vote for the candidate of their choice. Women in Powder, the aged, and the first-timers were all seen on queue exercising their franchise.
Honestly, I don't think you have a say. So my vote is my right. That is why I have come out to vote.
I'm very, very encouraged. Really, I will still come out and vote. The election exercise is very perfect.
Observers believe that with the continued voter education, more women will be encouraged to come out in the subsequent elections.
And we have reports just in now saying that the Acting Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Abubakar Adamu, has warned that no one should engage in any unlawful announcement and dissemination of election results on any platform, as that remains in the jurisdiction of the Electoral Umpire INEC. A statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, Frank Mba, the acting IGP, also commended Nigerians for their massive turnout and orderly conduct during the presidential and National Assembly elections. He also commended the personnel of the Nigeria Police Force and other security agencies for their sacrifices towards the successful conduct of the election. The acting IGP indicates that notwithstanding a few unfortunate incidents, including loss of lives recorded in few places, the exercise was generally peaceful, stating that the number of arrests for various electoral offences across the country stands at 128. The IGP has directed the Special Election Investigation Team to immediately commence discreet investigation of all security-related infractions during the election and ensure that all persons found culpable are brought to book in accordance with the law. Let's pause a while now and turn attention to sister country Senegal, where election is also taking place. Our correspondent there, Juliet Aino, in Dakar, reports that polling stations officially opened early Sunday morning and people came out peacefully to vote while also going about their normal everyday businesses. Here is Juliet Aino's report.
It is voting day in Senegal and the streets of Dakar are busy, though it is not business as usual. Despite the fact that there is no restriction of movement today, the polling centers are full of eligible voters waiting and ready to cast their ballot. There are over 46,000 polling centers all over the country and 15,000 polling units. And there are 6.6 million Senegalese people eligible to vote, and they are voting in 49 countries today. It is 8:30 a.m. and our first point of call this morning is at the Ajam Yasin Dian Primary School in the Plateau area of Dakar. The turnout here has been impressive. We have been here for 30 minutes and people have been voting peacefully, and the process has been smooth so far.
Happy to see what is happening here in Senegal. The poll did begin at time with discipline, and everybody decided to come to vote. It's very important for our sub-region. I think that I'm very happy, and what I saw this morning, I would like maybe to continue, and I wish that each citizen of Senegal to come to vote. It is a duty for every of them and God will bless his country.
We just heard from the head of mission of the ECOWAS observation mission here in Senegal, President Boni Yayi, and we have gone round with him. He has expressed his happiness at voter turnout generally. And here at the HLM Grand Yoff School in the Grand Yoff area of Dakar, they have extra voting centers for those that cannot find their name anywhere else in the area.
On va voter dans la paix, après on rentre chez nous.
The Unit 14 school in Area 21 of Dakar has over 13 voting centers, and the voting opened here at 8:10 a.m. But most people like this man say they have been here since 7 a.m. He says he just expects to vote peacefully and go home. From Dakar, Senegal, Julieta Aino, NTA News.
All right, thank you, Julieta. Time for sports now. Nigeria's male and female beach volleyball team qualified for the Under-21 World Championship in